These are trees that we did not plant the last tree planting.
Kind of a different breed of kids out here. They're rural, they're used to being outside, and so I have to support students that are very tactile by offering them field trips. Those field trips, I think, are a way to take this local environment and teach global issues. In the classroom, I try to emphasize with my kids that failure is okay. It's part of the process of being successful. And therefore, there's multiple chances to demonstrate that you understand an issue. I'm with a group of kids that eventually will go into the community and be the best that they can be. And so, it's exciting for me because this is only my 4th year, but 10, 15, 20 years down the road, I can't wait to count the number of lawyers and doctors and athletes and teachers and coaches that, were once a 13, 14, 15-year-old awkward middle schooler in my class. So it's great to articulate to the community that that teachers, I think, really have the best interest in mind of the kids and are really care about them and champion who they're going to become.
Mr. King is a special teacher because he teaches in a way that everyone can understand. And not only does he teach in a way everyone can understand, but he makes the subject fun.
I think one thing that makes him a really good teacher is that he's really relatable. Like, some teachers, they're just like robots, like blah, 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 blah. But he really interacts with the students, and he understands that how hard it is to be a student sometimes, like how difficult and scary and joyful and fun it is.
Stand up if you liked it, if you thought it was going to be inspiring. The thing that I do with students is I find out what their passion is early on, and I try to use it as a tool to get to know them, and also a tool to get them to take challenges with their writing and their reading. Because usually if they're passionate about athletics, or they're passionate about music, or even if they're passionate about video games, it's a lot easier to tap into that if they're a reluctant reader than to just say read a book or you read a magazine. It gives me an opportunity to get to know them. Parents have a really hard job. I think in our current culture and economy, I think most parents have to work. I don't think it used to be like that, and we sometimes see kids a lot more hours than they even see their kids. And so we're impacting them hopefully in a positive way and a nurturing way. We spend a lot of time getting them ready to be successful human beings, both as community members, but they're also going to be the ones building cars and making airplanes do all sorts of wild things, and also saving the environment. Education is a way to open them to, bigger thinking.
Miss Strong's awesome because she's always committed to everything. Her students, her work, her cheerleading, all of the above.
She really believes in her students and believes in what we can do as a community.
She's a great teacher. She makes school somewhere where kids want to be. Everyone is always so excited to be in her classroom and to learn new stuff. She makes English exciting. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. I feel great!
This is supposed to be as real life as possible. Well, I've dedicated most of my life to teaching, and I remember when I first started teaching, I wanted every class that I taught to be interesting, rigorous, and fun. And I tried to bring that to every day, those 3 things, and I still, 29 years later, I still try to do that. But then I want to move them towards project-based learning. I want to have seniors do senior projects. I want to get them ready for college, and I'd like to get them ready for a good career, especially in science. That's my #1 goal as a science teacher. But I do everything I possibly can to try to help these kids. It's a noble profession. I mean, we all had a certain teacher that affected our lives and made us want to go on and do great things. And we all do that. And I think the great teachers all do that. They become that mentor, that inspiration. And I want teachers to know that it's important. This is important work, and we need more teachers coming into the profession. And I want them to know that it is worthwhile, it's rewarding. 29 years in, and I still enjoy every day.
He's a really wonderful teacher. He's always really interesting. He always has something really, really intriguing to say. He brings a lot of insight to really hard concepts that are normally really hard to understand. He explains things really well, and he's a really kind person.
I didn't really have an idea of what I wanted to be, or I didn't really have any interest or anything like that. But being in Mr. Black's class, his class has made me realize that I'm really into space, and it would be a really nice thing to do when I'm older.
One, two, three, one. What do I do every day to support students? I play music every day with students to help support students. Music and orchestra is one of those subjects that we have equal percentages of head, hands, and heart working at once. So for example, we're playing a piece of music, our heart's pretty engaged in that. We're looking at the notes and saying, oh, okay, I know that that's a G sharp. And I see that there's a dot over it, and so I have to play that staccato, short bow on the string. So not only are we using our heads, what we know, recognizing the note, recognizing the symbols, but then we have to execute it with our hands. So our heads, hands, and heart are all working pretty much at equal percentages while we're teaching or while we're learning and doing music. So many things are bombarding our students at once. So being an educator and being able to connect with students in whatever subject matter is extremely important, because we have to get them through this period of their life so that they can be functioning adults later on.
She helps every single kid in here, She doesn't work just on the best kids, but she helps with the... I used to be in the back, and now I'm up in the front. It's from her just teaching and helping me through all that time. So I think it's just she sticks with the kids no matter what.
Not just music, but life as well. I've had some drama go on, whether it be middle school or high school, and Ms. Gervais has always been there to help me with that and understand. She's also definitely really sparked my passion in music. I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for her.
Go ahead and just put on your reading log.
I think the important thing for students is to help them be successful. And so there are lots of different paths to success. Sometimes you need to be right next to a student and help them just one-on-one personally, and sometimes you need to let a student just go on their own path and figure out their own journey towards the success that they're headed for. The most important thing about teaching and education is passion, and I would want the public to know that teachers are passionate. They're passionate about their subject area, but mostly they're passionate about their students, and just that going that extra mile for students is really what teachers are all about. And taking the time to get to know your students and to learn about their lives is sometimes more important than did you put the commas in the right place and have you spelled every word correctly. Just to see your students feel more confident and feel empowered, that's really what teachers are in it for.
This is actually my first year here and my last since I'm gonna graduate, and ever since I got here she's been all on my butt about getting my grade up and having that A that I have right now.
There's been certain kids in the past couple years that would not have graduated without her, and she comes in on weekends. She'll stay till 6 or 7 at night after school, just helping kids, get their stuff done. And it doesn't even have to be English. She says, you can come in and work on anything.
She really gets on top of the students, and she really cares about them too.
At least turn it, because you don't want it to continue cooking on the outside. I'm passionate about making learning come alive. I love creating an immersive, innovative learning environment where students are creating and collaborating, critically thinking and communicating. I want to create a classroom where students are empowered to make learning their own and equipped with the skills to not only be successful in our ever-changing world, but to leave a legacy. As educators, we have the opportunity to spark the love of learning in our students every day. I want students to take the skills that they learn in culinary and build on them for a lifetime. I want students to look back on their high school experience 30 years from now, and I want them to remember my classroom as a place where they were able to discover and explore their passions, where learning was relevant and meaningful, where they were able to take risks without any fear of failure. It's so important to bring joy and passion into the classroom every day because it's contagious. When we are excited about what we teach, students become excited about what they learn.
I think she's one of my favorite teachers because she just makes the class so fun and she's so kind and caring. And she gamifies the class, which makes me want to come here every day and cook, and it just makes the class super fun.
She cares about all of her students as much as she would if they were just individuals. Is amazing. You normally don't get that with teachers, like just as the group. It's like, oh, just all my students, but she'll have one-on-one time with her students, and I think that's what makes her stand out. And she sees what you're good at, and she gives you credit for that, and it's like, that's really uplifting.